Okay. Zach, what is up, dude?
What is that?
Brother, man, thank you so much. What a time to be alive. Thank God to be able to have an opportunity like this with Facebooks and Instagrams crashing. This almost didn't happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like kind of fretting over it because, so much of we already rescheduled once, so didn't
Yeah.
want to have to do it again. But
Fuck, dude.
luckily,
I
the uh, the Metasphere worked with us today.
they
And just a slight correction
uh-huh.
with the pronunciation, it's rainy, not rainy.
Right, Rainy. Okay,
Rainy,
gotcha,
like the
gotcha.
weather, like the weather.
Zach Reini.
Yeah,
Beautiful. All right,
yeah.
we're gonna roll with it. And luckily, I mean, we don't ever add in any of the initial introduction too. So this is the first thing that they're hearing is Zach Reini. They didn't hear me fuck that up.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
okay. It happens all the time. Like whether it's someone at the bank or like or you, it's all good.
Here we
It
are.
happens.
Here we
It
are.
happens.
Man, well, thank God, first and foremost, on behalf of Jeremy and myself, we really thank you for taking the time today. So sick, man. Obviously, we had to reschedule and kind of get some things going, but you have a collection of radical music. Both Jeremy and I kind of go back and forth. And one of the big things that's kind of fun with, him and I collaborating on these is trying to dial it back because we're like, dude, we can't have a 3 hour thing, but you have a lot of shit going on. It's so radical. It's like hard on how to pan, between what it is that we want. So, we're just kind of start off with some of the things on your personal interests and kind of go from there as far as music wise. As far as, first early interest in music and maybe a local music shop, if there's something that kind of comes to mind that's special to you. Where does all this start, my brother?
Um, I would say I kind of have like a late sort of start to music. As far as like finding my own taste, but like as far as like early on, like just like listening to whatever my dad was listening to, so he always had like the local classic rock station playing, like a lot of Springsteen, CCR, Boston, stuff like that. And I do vividly remember he had a Bob Marley. I think it was like a comp CD. I think it was like Bob Marley Legend. Um,
Okay.
so like we were listening to Bob Marley all the time. So that was kind of like a early intro to like reggae and stuff like that. And I didn't really like know what like the difference between stuff was kind of early on. Like didn't really know like what to like. Um, but yeah, like um, that was kind of like my first like kind of intro to music. As far as like finding like my own taste, I think it kind of started at like the end of like sixth grade, you know, like around then is kind of when I was like listening to like different stuff. A friend of mine that went to my middle school, Cole, he's actually the singer of Rob Reed. Um,
Oh,
he
shit.
would
Okay.
he would burn me CDs of like Pennywise, like Sex Pistols, Black Flag, stuff like that. But as far as like a music shop, um, I would say like there was like an Angelo's, which is just like, like you could get like CDs there and also buy like a bong or like an ICP banner. Like that's like kind of the vibe of Angelo's.
Now we're
There was
talking my kind of
yeah.
place.
So there was like one of those near my house growing up, but like we didn't really like go there. But like I guess like my first like vivid memory of like finding music was like going to Wax Tracks, which is downtown. Um, I just remember going there with my friend Matt and just kind of like looking through, like not really knowing like what anything is, and just like doing the thing where you see a cool album cover and you pick that, and like if you have enough money, you get it. So I think on that trip, I bought a Nasm CD just because I thought the cover looked cool.
Oh.
Um, and I think an Exhumed LP because I was like, oh
Hello.
shit. I was like, oh shit, like this is has like a pointy logo and there's like blood on it. Like this seems cool. Um, so this is like when I could drive, like when I'm like 16 or whatever. But like before that, I was just like relying on burned CDs from friends or whatever. But like getting into like Rancid, you know, all like the pop punk stuff. Um, I had a Propaganda CD in my car for so long, and that's like one of the CDs that I put on, uh, or like albums I put on if I need to like stay awake on a long drive because I know all the words from like just like
Oh yeah.
listening to it, so it like keeps you kind of awake. That's like a, you know, since I'm not taking like crazy like caffeine pills or like whatever, just have to like listen to a CD that you know all the words to and you can stay awake. Do like
Man.
the straight edge speedball and drink like an energy drink and spit sunflower seeds into it. Keep you awake on a long drive. But I think that's like the
Shit.
first like CD that I bought, like with my own money. Like I think I probably talked my mom into buying like an Anti-Flag CD from like Target or something like that, when I was like 13, 14. Um,
Sick.
but yeah, that's kind of like the start of like music. But um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
So I wonder how you go from like Pennywise or like Anti-Flag or Propaganda to like going to like Exhumed or like Nasm. Like, I mean, I get
um,
it, maybe, but like, where's that come from?
I think it was kind of like an arms race of just like speed. So like I definitely
uh,
got sucked into like this was like MySpace era. So like hearing like I remember hearing it like Infest on one of my friend's MySpace pages, and I was like, that's the shit I want. Like it's fast, but like I can like hear the vocals. Um, it's not like I wasn't like really into like death metal at the time. Didn't really even know like what it was. Um, but yeah, and then I was like, okay, I need faster. So then it's slowly started to go to like grindcore, and then it's like, okay, what's even more obnoxious? And then like it just like keeps going faster and faster, like stuff like agoraphobic nosebleed. That's probably the first time I was like, oh wait, this is a drum machine. So that was like a kind of key memory to keep in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it got to like the point where I'm like, okay, like maybe porno grind isn't like my thing. So maybe let's like dial it back. And then I got like really into like fastcore in high school. And so like had so many dollar bin fastcore 7 inches and you know, but that's kind of like where that came from. So that
okay.
this span is like really short, probably like a year or two in like early high school, you know, just being like, oh,
Damn.
you can go faster and then like dialing it back. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like where Exhumed came from. And also Exhumed was awesome because I found out that they had like that they did like a cover album. So like
Oh,
it's like a
all right.
I think it's called like Garbage Days Regurgitated or something. And they have like a Led Zeppelin cover. They cover Metallica. They do an amazing Amoebix cover. So that kind of like
Damn.
made me go down the rabbit hole of being like, oh, if like these dudes are into this, like maybe I'll like these other things. So like I think they cover No Quarter, Trapped Under Ice, The Power Remains. Like they do a GBH cover. So I was like, oh shit, like
Damn. No
all
shit.
this all this stuff is kind of like interconnected. And
Okay.
like definitely like Exhumed like paved the way for that. And then like later, like in my more adult life, I'm like, okay, Exhumed is sick.
Yeah.
They're
Mm-hmm.
like death metal is fucking rad. But it wasn't like a linear like straight path. I kind of had to get back to death metal,
Sure.
sort of a roundabout way.
I, I think that was like kind of the same too, and I think something that I love, that in your mention of your story is like mentioning something like Boston, like that was brother foreplay long time. We've had conversations about this dude, like
Oh, dude.
Boston is so sick and so great, and I love anybody that I can like look at the catalog that you have and look back and I can still talk about something like Boston and be like, hey, we're here, man.
Yeah, and like Boston is so sick because like just like the like perfectionism and like
Uh-huh.
the um I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
It's Brad.
That's the
Oh
singer,
wait,
The
Brad, but
vocals.
like the
the guitar
yeah, but
player. The guy that did like Music Man guitars and stuff. Not Music Man, but Music Man amps.
yeah,
Right.
they
Tom Schultz.
Tom Schultz.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so
There you
like
go.
Tom Schultz just like wanting to get it done like his way, like with the whatever means he had available was like really inspiring and just like being like, oh, okay, like you can. There's no excuse, There they are. Look at them.
Look
Boy,
at
oh
these
boy.
guys.
Look at
You
those
know,
guys.
the chest
That guy
hair.
fucks. That guy fucks. You know it.
Yeah, I think
I think that's my
Tom
dad.
is second from left if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's him
that's
right
him.
there.
But
Man.
yeah, Boston's amazing, and I'll give credit to my buddy Keith, who I've been in like a couple of little bands with.
Mhm.
He set, and I agree with his point, being that Boston like added the pick slide into like the rock
Uh,
lexicon, and I'm
okay.
like, I think that's like a pretty early like use of the pick slide in like a sort of like rock sense. So
I mean, I've
I
never.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I've ever put like timeline with that or like kind of made like the correlation, but any credit that we're gonna give toward Boston, like, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, I
and just like the pipes on that dude, just and like I watched like this like breakdown video of More Than a Feeling, and just like the layers that are in
yeah,
there,
oh
it's
yeah,
just incredible. So like that sort of texturing is like I really appreciate, and I don't know if I like directly use that, but it's cool to keep it in the back of my mind, like when making stuff. Um, but yeah, a lot of love a good rock and roll album. You know, it's really easy to
I
get
think
stoked on
I got you
Boston.
back.
You're here. You're with us, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, where does it come into play? And we're gonna fast forward a little bit, but as far as you being able to hold something that you're recording on that you have, where does that come into play? That you had part in?
Like the first like physical release, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, that would probably be it's not like my first band,
Hmm.
but probably like the first like serious band. It was this fastcore band called Deathbox.
Oh, okay.
We just like really liked skateboarding. Um,
Okay.
but we we made like our demo tapes by going to the thrift store and getting just like whatever like dollar cassette there and dubbing over them, like taping over the tabs
Oh,
and
oh
just like
shit. Okay.
recording over with it. So and then we would just like put tape on like whatever cover, if it was like I don't know, like just some like Herb Albert, like just whatever tape, just like put tape over it and just like write Deathbox on top of it. So that's like the first like physical thing that I ever made or had a hand in making.
Okay.
But that wasn't like my first band, but it was like the first time that we like recorded something.
Okay.
Like consciously, like we're like, okay, we're in my mom's basement. I have Audacity. Like, let's just put a mic in the middle of the room and send it. And like some like really stupid, like, 10-second songs, that was like that was like our thing. And then like the first like proper like physical thing was that same band. We made a 7-inch that had 19 songs on it. It was ridiculous. It was like way overproduced. But like it was fine. I found out later that the guy that recorded it was in that thrash band, Havoc. They're like a
Oh shit!
Colorado
Really?
thrash band.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if he played guitar or drums, but yeah.
Damn.
Shout out the Havoc.
Yeah, have a nice little golden touch on there.
Yeah,
Shit,
but it was
that
like
rips.
really produced. Like it sounded good, but like for that kind of band, like it's almost like the shittier the better.
Right. Hey man, this is too polished.
Yeah, it was like really polished, and but you know, it is what it is. It was cool as like a first like 7-inch like record, and like we didn't have like a lot of money to like get it made, so we like had the like cost split between like 5 or 6 different people, and so like the credits on the back are like 6 different logos of like who like put it out, because like it was just like it was like a shared release between like so many different
labels.
Yeah, you know, but it's actually just like our friends that were willing to pitch some money to it and like get some copies, you know.
So
but
sick.
There's so many of them, and like we did some like cool stuff like screen printing the cover on like the inside of Coke boxes, like Coca-Cola, the cardboard boxes, and other stuff like that. So just like a lot of arts and crafts. But just trying to make like some of them like special, you know.
Yeah.
We certainly we like numbered a lot of them, but like a lot of the numbers like don't matter. Like I kind of remember our drummer Roman being like, we were sitting down numbering them, and he was just like, I don't know what number we're on, and just like writing random numbers, which is like incredible because kind of like subverts that whole like,
the whole idea,
of it, which I think is incredible. So shout out.
Oh man, that's fucking funny. Holy shit. Hey Jeremy, I can't hear you.
It's better that way.
Hey.
It's better that way.
It's okay.
Our producer came in and was like, "Cut that fucker off."
Yeah,
cut it down.
Get out of here.
No, I was saying it's like you're just like that guy that's like, I gotta have everything he's released, and that guy's now like, fuck, where's 64?
Yeah,
64.
It's actually funny. This younger kid that's in like a bunch of bands in Denver, Nick, he just went on tour with Destiny Bond, and Amos, who's in Destiny Bond, he plays guitar. He used to be in Ukko's Hammer, but he was saying that they went to Amoeba Records and he bought a Deathbox 7-inch at Amoeba Records, and I was like, you better have not paid more than $1 for that thing. And I think he got it for like $2. So,
well,
you know,
fucking cap
out of the dollar bin for a little while longer.
Hey, you know, 100% more than what you had anticipated. That's a resale, brother. Shit.
Yeah,
there you go.
Can you put a price on classics? I don't think you can.
I don't know about classics, but
at least a price on beauty. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
It is what it is. Yeah.
All right.
And I drew the cover for it, and like I was like, I designed like the center labels, which were like the graphic on these skateboard wheels, the Powell, I think they're called G-Bones or whatever. They're like pretty big, like pool skating wheels, and I edited it to say Deathbox in like the font, but I don't think I had Photoshop at the time. I think I probably did it in like Microsoft Paint or something.
Baby steps though. Baby steps over tape and Sharpie.
Yeah, tape and Sharpie, then MS Paint, and then just drawing, like trying to copy Pusshead really bad. But yeah, that it is what it is.
Dude, so sick. I mean, Jeremy, take us, as far as this next question here, with 5 CDs, like, bring us in this realm, brother. Where are we going with this?
So we want to dig into some music. Okay.
Okay.
So we're in your dream Honda Civic, just living our best lives, right?
Uh-oh.
What are the 5 CDs?
Oh, boy.
You know I'm a Honda boy.
Here it is.
Shout out Honda. I should have worn my Honda hat.
Yeah. Shameless pandering here on the Fireside Chants. We will pander. We're not above it. So 5 of your favorite CDs.
Okay.
And we're gonna go. We have a couple genres.
Got it.
Let's start with rock and roll. Favorite rock and roll album.
All
So we're
right.
taking a ride in the Honda Civic, maybe even riding along the coast there. You got these 5 CDs, and you got one rock and roll. What's going to be in this?
Hold on. Wait.
What?
I think you guys can get
the coast. The coast.
the coast.
The coast
Yeah,
of what?
it might be the
I
might be
understand.
the Cherry Creek Reservoir.
Listen, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking something even like we're taking a trip. You know what I'm
Idyllic.
saying?
Oh,
like-
okay.
Idyllic.
Like an ideal. Yeah, that's one. I obviously my guy's in Denver. I understand that, but I'm saying like we're taking like a nice road trip. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. We're on a road trip
There we
in
go.
the Honda Civic.
3 ways. We got it. We're here.
3 rascals. What are we listening to? What rock and roll are we putting in?
Well, I think we already talked about it. Like Boston is coming on, but I think some like honorable mentions. Like I mentioned earlier, like my dad's answer to this would just be Bruce Springsteen. Like I borrowed his truck last year because I was just in between cars, and this man had nothing but Bruce Springsteen CDs in his car. I think it was like 10 or 12 Bruce Springsteen CDs in this 2008 Dodge Dakota. And I think he had like one different CD. It was like Nickelback or something. And I was just like,
Wild.
he was just trying it out. I don't know if he liked it or not, but
when he had a bad day at work.
bad day, yeah.
I'm putting this Nickelback on,
Yep.
man.
There you go.
But yeah, he just recently retired. So shout out
Man.
Tom.
Shout out retirement.
Shout out
Shit.
Yeah, shout out
retirement.
Wow.
I'm not going to know what that's like.
Yeah.
But definitely a Springsteen CD would be in there too.
Okay.
Probably Born in the USA, or Nebraska if we're getting like real sad,
Oh man. Just
like
a fluctuation of emotion. Whatever we're needing.
You got to have like those triumphant jams, some problematic jams.
Man.
But gotta love the boss, and I think CCR, just like
Oh, dude.
yeah, just like whatever album. I think it's Willie and the Poor Boys. I think that's the album that Fortunate Son is on.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That track is so good, but I would listen to like a greatest hits CCR album like any day, But
You put on their records and their greatest hits. You know what I'm saying? You never know the difference.
yeah, exactly.
Son of a bitch. They put on another greatest hits album.
Yeah, and then maybe like if we're gonna like do like a little bit more of like a deep cut, I would say like early Brian Eno.
Oh shit. Okay.
So like Before and After Science, just like weirdo rock, just like
Sure.
fresh off of Roxy Music, just like making weird pop rock songs, So
I'm not
and then
overly familiar. I know the guy and I know like catalog.
the ambient. He's mostly known for like the ambient stuff, but like that early stuff is just like kind of like weirdo rock, just like pop songs. So he would definitely be on there. Like that's like an album that I put on if I'm like listening to music like in the studio, just like painting or whatever. I'll put on that because it's like all the lyrics are like kind of like gibberish. It's like like kind of Bowie-esque. It's just like what the fuck is this dude talking about? like I'm I can't even think of like an example off the top of my head, but
Sure.
definitely a Brian Eno CD, and then of course Prince. Purple Rain is coming on.
Man.
That album is just so good. Me and Antonio from Spine were actually talking about Prince the other day, just like kind of really going in on it.
Dude.
But he's just like the world's horniest man. Just like, but like in a way that like only Prince can get away with, you know?
Yeah.
Like if any of us tried to be that vulnerable and horny, we would definitely get on some sort of list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't last long. It wouldn't last long.
Nope.
No. But yeah, anything from the Prince catalog, you know, just like so prolific, and like he's so good at guitar, it's crazy, and just like the showmanship, you know, like I always think about his Super Bowl performance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude, he's playing Purple Rain in the rain in heels.
You know,
knocks it out of the park.
And no one questions it. Everyone's just like, yeah, of course. Of course.
Prince.
But he's not one of those, like us three being musicians, we all have those days where we pick up whatever our craft is and realize that we just suck absolute fucking ass. I don't need to ever do this again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prince is not that guy that I want to see at that moment. That moment when I'm vulnerable and I'm knowing and I'm telling myself that I'm the fucking worst at whatever it is, and I don't ever want to see these drums again. I don't want to see Prince. This motherfucker's awesome at everything. Yeah. What am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
On the flip side of that coin, like it could be like some motivation, you know, just being like this dude can do it all. Like, yeah. I just gotta like put in the time, and I won't be Prince, but man, second best to Prince is still pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, I would probably just be like 64th or 65th.
Yeah, even that's good.
Anything.
Even that's good. Like,
I'm just grateful I lived when he lived, so I'm okay.
That's true. That's true. Be around.
I was super sad when he passed away. Well, Prince, and like my family's from Minnesota, so
R.I.P. Prince.
R.I.P. Prince. Yeah, pour one out. So like it kind of has that sort of connection because like they sell Prince shirts at like the airport in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Like
damn.
Yeah. So like actually my sister went back to Minnesota for a trip, whatever, and got me a like licensed like official Prince shirt, but it like looks like it's like a Target shirt. It's incredible. But yeah, Prince is awesome. Love Prince.
Yeah. I mean, when we go to something, maybe when someone thinks you and your catalog, what about a hardcore record? We're stepping in the Honda, we're on a ride, and we say, hey man, let's put in something a little more aggressive.
Let's pick it up.
What are you gonna have in there?
We picked up the T-Bell. Now it's time for the hardcore music.
Oof. Oh, dude, we're getting blasted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Baja blasted.
Baja blasted, dude.
Hell
Find
yeah,
a fucking porta potty.
Yeah. Definitely. And this is actually
weird ass
like
road trip.
One of those burn CDs that I was mentioning earlier that Cole made for me was the Minor Threat discography.
Oh.
Just like when I was listening to that, like in middle school and high school, like, and I heard, like, at first I didn't know that 12XU was a cover. Like, I didn't put two and two together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, like during like that, like kind of like drum and bass break in their version of 12XU, and like the guitar just goes like da-da! Like that tone. I was like, I'm sold. Like let's go. Like that gets me like so amped every single time I hear that, and it like is one of the reasons why I've always wanted a JCM 800, because like it sounds so good. And like you just turn it up all the way and it sounds great. And like Slayer used it, Godflesh used it. Like it's a great amp.
Shit.
But Minor Minor Threat is on there for sure. And then I mentioned earlier Infest. I definitely think No Man's Slave is on there. That kind of, even though it might be sped up a little bit, it's still ripping. You know? So, because I heard somewhere, I don't know if that's true or not, if No Man's Slave is like slightly
like a post-production thing or something.
And then like I know that the Joe D'Annunzio didn't record the vocals until like later, after they recorded it. But yeah, just like how intense like that album is so good. Like it just keeps going and going and going, and then like you finally get the relief with My World My Way, and you're like, ah, oh, yes. But
not for
yeah, just that record like really showed like you can be like really fast, but not like, but like you can't be like, you can play fast but not be grindcore, you know, and you can still be like a punk band. And then I think, let's think some more stuff. Oh, the New Breed tape compilation, like all those like 87 New York hardcore bands, like that just like is like such like a big like breadth of like the possibilities of like hardcore.
Sure. I'm not familiar, so I'm listening.
Oh, it's
on
awesome,
this one.
dude! It is so sick. It's got like Life's Blood, Outburst, Breakdown, some more like more deep cut stuff that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but I think Abomination is on there, Absolution, like a lot of these like heavy hitting New York hardcore bands are on there.
Sick.
It's kind of in the same vein as like Where the Wild Things Are, if you're familiar with that.
Okay.
With that tape comp. But yeah, like hearing Life's Blood for the first time, I was like, oh shit, this is what is up. And like like just like, yeah, just being like a menace, you know, just like talking shit. But and then like keeping it in New York, probably bringing it down, you know, Judge, you know, it's taken
totally
like all the things that I really like about hardcore and just like kind of like upping it, you know, like there's like more complicated guitar work. It's heavier than like Youth of Today. It's got like a little bit more metal, but it's not like metalcore, you know? And just like sort of that like negative straight edge sort of idea, you know, being like, I'm straight edge and fuck you. Like, like that's like a really cool like yin to the yang of like Youth of Today being like, I'm straight edge and you're not, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know? Or like other like super positive
let's
bands.
still be friends.
Yeah, like Wide Awake or something like that. Like Judge is just like, it's like so
better than you.
Yeah, like just being like,
fuck you.
And just like, I was like listening to like a bunch of interviews with Mike Judge like last year, and I was just like, oh man, this dude fucking rules. Like he's just like the coolest dude, and he was just like, yeah, I just wanted to ride my motorcycle, so I like got out of hardcore, and I'm like, that's so sick.
So sick.
And then I guess like to kind of round out like hardcore, just like showing like what it can be, like No Trend. Don't know if you guys fuck with that at all, but just like how weird hardcore can be, you know? But like it's more of like a mindset rather than a sound in some cases. So like Too Many Humans, like that is just like the most negative, like hateful, like misanthropic shit, and like just being like, yeah, we can't really play well, but we're still gonna do it, you know. And then like adding in like a saxophone solo, and you're just
Okay.
like, and then like their next album is like super sad, like jazz punk.
Oh, weird.
So
So they went the whole way with the
yeah,
saxophone.
they went all in
Damn.
on saxophone, and I think they even did like a collaboration with Lydia Lunch, which is really cool.
I don't know who that is.
I'm I'm missing the band that she is like normally uh, associated with. If we can get a fact check here,
Here
Justin.
we go. Jeremy, this
Jeremy,
is
not Justin.
this is
I'm
the first
so
time I've had a computer, so I'm sitting here trying to fuck with anything, and I just deleted everything on the screen. So,
Oh my god.
dude, I've done hundreds of these interviews now, and I always had paper printouts, and that's like another thing that's kind of new is that I've just recently gotten a computer, and I've kind of fucked around with having a screen and different things. I just try to have the basics. You know what I'm saying? I just want the basic stuff. I might have to go back to the papers.
Teenage Jesus and the Jerks.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay.
who she was with, and she's like a poet too. So just doing like weird shit.
Yeah.
I just realized like I have a computer too, so I can make this shit up. I don't have to rely on you guys.
That's not on you, brother. That's not on you. What about something as far as industrial? So if we're getting a little weird, maybe this is kind of the point that we're beyond tired, and we're gonna start getting a little different energy going here. What do we got going there for an industrial CD?
Well, my first inclination is just to put on the entire Godflesh discography, because that is my favorite band. They're just so good. It's just unreal, and like just like seeing the progression and like finding out later, like, oh, like this dude was in Napalm Death, like, but was like, nah. Grindcore probably ain't my thing.
Else.
Let's do something else. And just like taking like a separate interest like techno or like drum and bass or whatever, and like melding it with like your other interests, like that's like another like form of crossover to me, So like instead of just taking like thrash metal and hardcore, they're taking industrial techno and slamming it together with metal. Like that is so amazing. But if I had to pick like one Godflesh album, it's probably Street Cleaner. It's just like the earliest. Like it's crazy that album was made in 1988. Like if you think about other stuff that was happening at that time, like you got Breakdown on one side and then Godflesh on the other. Like it's just crazy. Super innovative. And just like, yeah, crushing.
Yeah, I was gonna say crushing's the word that comes to mind when I think of Street Cleaner.
Yeah,
like
and
just a crushing album.
Yeah, and just like the drum machine is just like another example of like, working with like what you got, but and just like making it happen, and they tried using like normal drummers, but it just like didn't fit the vibe, so
it wasn't impressive enough.
Yeah, it's just like, and like I've tried to play with drum machines before, and it's really hard, because like like Eric, you're a drummer, that like when you're playing with someone, like you can like kind of like get a cue, like, oh, we're like I need to catch up, or I need to let the guitarist or bassist catch up. But with a drum machine, it's just like it's relentless, and it's just like it doesn't care. Like so like it's just like this like mechanical, like kind of nihilistic sort of just like we're just going. But since I want to like mix it up a little bit, some more industrial stuff,
Well, real quick, not
Yeah.
to distract from this, but I'm just curious because you're so into Godflesh, and obviously Justin Broadrick's like a genius. Are you into Yezu at all?
Oh yeah, I really like Yezu, and like it seems like a very like logical continuation, you know, like being like, oh, let's make this heavy, but we've done like the pissed thing, so let's just make this like a little more of a different emotion,
Yeah.
you know, like tapping into like sadness, like melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say like I'm more of a fan of like the first Yezu album, just because it's just like the heaviest shoegaze album you've
Yeah.
ever fucking heard.
100%.
And it's just like, oh shit, like this is like what's possible, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that around that time is like when he was like really doing like the 7-string vibe, you know, so it's
Yeah.
just like so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've wanted to try 7-string just because like, oh, hey, Justin Broderick did it, so. But I haven't made the jump. But
I just tuned a B. I'm too lazy. One more string's too much.
yeah, the hammer tunes the drop C.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
like pretty low for like a hardcore band.
Damn, drop C. Holy shit.
Drop C's a
Yeah.
nice tuning for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got like it's like pretty heavy, but it doesn't turn to like mush,
Mhm.
you know? Because if you tune to like A or something, you're getting to like, you know, Primitive Man territory of just
Yeah.
like this fucking nasty sludge, and it's like kind of hard to play like fast riffs. At least I tried.
I tuned a
Like-
B, and like I gotta have like ropes for strings. Like it's just.
Oh yeah, I think Andy just bought like a pair, like a set of 13s, and it's pulling his bridge up because they're like just so heavy. But they sound so good. They have like so much bass to it. But yeah, I could talk about Godflesh all day. So if I could, I'll refrain from doing that. But another like industrial metal band that I really like is Dead World.
Not familiar.
So it's like a early band of like, I think it was like a Relapse guy, like a guy that did like art or something to do with Relapse, and it was like his like industrial project. This album called The Machine. It's just like everything I like about like Godflesh, you know. It's just like it's like brutal. It's got drum machine. It's got just, you know, like kind of post-apocalyptic like lyrics, just like hatred, which is like pretty cool vibe.
Totally.
I'm just like trying to think of like metal bands with drum machines. Early Pitch Shifter. If you're familiar with them, they like turned into like more of like a pop sort of thing later on, but they're
like electronic new metal kind of.
Yeah, like Power Man 5000 or something.
Yeah. I saw it at Ozfest actually.
Oh, sick!
In 2000.
But
2000, I saw Pitch Shifter.
Their early album, which is called Industrial, is fucking brutal. It's just same thing as Dead World and Godflesh. It's just like nasty, heavy, mechanical. Just love that shit, you know. And then like since we mentioned Power Man 5000, going to like the more pop side, I would probably put on Rob Zombie, Hellbilly Deluxe.
All right. Hey, a Dragula boy.
Dude, Dragula is so sick. I remember having this game on PlayStation 1. It was like a snowmobile racing game, just like the worst graphics ever. And you just like got fucking locked in when Dragula came on. Like it's just like it's like catchy, and it shows that like there is like a sort of like mainstream pull for it. It's definitely like I'm not spinning it like super regularly, but like I'll get in a Dragula mood, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And like White Zombie was like really rad too.
Oh
Um,
man.
but
Love White
yeah, I
Zombie.
definitely put on Rob Zombie, and like of course like you're like a big horror dude, so like
Mm-hmm.
his movies are super sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like the most. I don't really watch too many movies, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I have seen House of a Thousand Corpses, and it was sick.
Yeah.
Um,
Just don't get
uh,
Eric started on Rob Zombie's Halloween. Just don't get him started
Yeah.
on it.
Well,
okay, I we'll
this
we'll
isn't
skip from
Don't get him
that,
started.
this
and
it's not my time, brothers.
I think
Not my
I think
time.
the I think my last like industrial pick, kind of playing off of um, Justin Broderick being a former member of Napalm Death. I'd probably put on Scorn, which is like a
Whoa.
project from Mick Harris, the drummer of Napalm Death.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
It's kind of his like industrial techno project. Um, this album, it's like a compilation album of like early '90s records. I'm gonna butcher this. And Anamnesis, but the cover is like
Mm.
black with like a yellow stripe across it, and it says Scorn. But it's just kind of like dubby, like down tempo, like heavy techno.
Mm.
Um, but I still think it fits the industrial vibe, and it's funny that two former members of uh, Napalm Death went on to like make different weird shit that's not
Yeah.
grindcore, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and as like wild as it kind of sounds, it almost makes sense, like just kind of in, hey, I'm in this most extreme version of something that you can have as far as heavy music, and like what else is out there that I could kind of, like examine, and something like that, where you're having mechanical sounds and different ways of making something heavy. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dude. And like, I think like techno, like in all facets, is sometimes more punk than punk. You know,
Hmm.
it's just like being completely different, trying to like use the what you got to like make a statement, you know, and trying to make like futuristic sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like all like the early Detroit techno, like it's so rad, you know, it's like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't know if you guys fuck with like Gabber, but like Gabber is like Dutch techno, but it's like really fast and uh, has like really distorted kick drum, and it's basically just a hardcore band with synthesizers and a drum machine. Like
Okay.
there's this one DJ that I really like. He was from England, I think. His name is DJ Loft Groover, and
Whoa.
like he's playing like at like 200 BPM, like dropping like death metal samples, just like punching Nazi skins because like DJ Loft Groover, he's a black guy, just like being like, "What's up? Like, let's fucking go!" And just like there's like um, there's a um, video of like one of like just like one of his sets. It's like if you Google DJ Lock Grouper Nosebleed Visions, it's just like an hour of just 200 BPM like kick drums with like death metal samples on it. It's fucking awesome. But
Jesus.
yeah, just like, you know,
Sick.
super rad. So I'm full in on techno being fucking punk.
Hell yeah. No, it's, and there's so many times too, like it sounds like cliche and it sounds silly, but like you taking into consideration the whole aspect of like the attitude behind something, or the aspect of like using and utilizing the things that you have on hand to make what the fuck you can of it, and make the best version of whatever it is, like versus a certain sound. So I mean, like it's cool that you're kind of mentioning these things too. Like I mean, maybe not Jeremy, but at least my behalf, like a lot of these things, as far as like the industrial like aspect, I'm not aware of, or I don't really like, I don't know, but it's sick to hear those things as far as like, hey, let me go and check these things out, and you know, and see a little bit of a different sound to it.
Oh, for sure. And like with you being like so close to Detroit, like I would highly recommend diving into like early Detroit techno. It's so sick.
Hmm.
And like like Underground Resistance was like this collective. Um like all their shit is like super political, like super aggressive, like just like full in like black liberation, and it
Hmm.
is so rad. And they're just like, yeah, we wanted to make futuristic music and this is what we got. Like,
Damn.
and like all of their like artwork is like so incredible. It's just like really like militant, like we're gonna get free by any means necessary, like,
Shit.
and using like music as a weapon, you know.
Hmm.
So highly recommend digging into that,
Yeah,
given
for
your
sure.
proximity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well,
some
so I
some
mean, we're
local bits.
yeah, dude. I mean, us being on like the west side, a couple hours, and we're over on the east side there. Nothing, nothing of a trek. I mean, you know, we kind of are talking like punk here and incorporating those with industrial, but like as far as an actual like a punk record, you know, to you, what would be something that you'd have in the old Honda Civic there, brother?
Oh, dude, without blinking, Coxbar,
Oh shit. Okay.
Shock Troops. It's a
Yep.
perfect album, front to back, no skips. Like hands down, best punk record ever made, in my opinion.
Damn.
It's so
Okay.
good.
Now, was
Just like
this
the
something that
melodies, like, oh, dude. Like, continue. Continue.
no, I was just gonna say, as far as discovering punk, was this something that was kind of, you know, something further in along the ways? Like how, you know, how did that come along? Did you have to sift through quite a bit of shit where you're like, oh,
I think I had to
this is
like download some improperly labeled viruses off of LimeWire to get to Coxbar.
I don't want to
Definitely,
know what you were downloading with that link.
yeah.
I don't know either. But you know, I don't think I like found out about it like early on. Um, like I don't think like the connection between like uh reggae, punk, and like oi was like really a thing in my mind until probably I was in like college or something. But like I think I like in college or like shortly after like found out about Coxbar and I was like, oh shit, like you're telling me this band was doing this in like the late 70s
Right.
and like put out this album in 1981? Like it just like kind of blew my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
like it was just like really real, you know. Like one of my uh like I went to art school.
Mm-hmm.
One of my painting professors would always say like paint what you know, which is like great advice, especially with like music, you know. Like Cotsbar just like made music about what they know, like they're like reading Clockwork Orange, talking about being droogies, or just like working like for your friend under the table. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is like a pretty like relatable thing, or it can be relatable because you're just telling it from like a really like honest perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I like really vibed with that like as soon as I found out about it. Um, and then like maybe some like other stuff like that I didn't like really like put together like how sick they were until like later, but like Stiff Little Fingers, um,
Okay.
putting on inflammable material. Like, dude, like you went through the American like public school system. You're not learning about like the troubles and um like the IRA and shit like that. So
Right.
like, or we're learning about a different IRA. But yeah, just like all these like protest songs, like talking about like just shit that's like happening to them, and like it's like a really real thing that's like affecting people, and like direct action, yielding results.
Mm-hmm.
So like, sometimes you got to put on the ski mask and
Jump on in.
jump on in. But like definitely like just like the aggressive, it was like pretty aggressive while still being like sort of poppy,
Mm-hmm.
but super catchy. Like I love that dude's voice. Um, and it just like makes you want to like sing along. So like, and that's like another band that's like it's like the vibe, like they put off like a good vibe,
Sure.
like this is about like working class liberation, like maybe Star Trek will be correct and we'll see a united Ireland in 2024, but I don't know. That's a deep cut. Maybe not, but if you're a Star Trek head, but another like punk album I really like to like put on, like if I'm like in the studio or whatever, is the Zounds. I don't know if they were on Crass Records, but they're kind of like adjacent to that. They have like the stencil font,
Okay. Okay. Yep.
but they're definitely like a more like not poppy, but it's like the guitar is like a bit more like jangly, and they definitely know how to play their instruments for sure. But yeah, the Zounds like also like just like as far as like political message, like super inspirational, you know, talking about like real shit, but he actually like sings. So like that's like pretty cool. Like just
Yeah.
showing like the
Range.
variation, the range, yeah, that like punk can be. And then like I mentioned a couple of times that I like went to art school. So like Suburban Lawns, are you familiar with Suburban Lawns?
No,
Like,
but that sounds sick.
yeah, it's just like a bunch of like art kids that went to Cal Arts, made like a punk band. I think they performed on like one of the late night shows, and like they're just weird. They're just like weird. Like so that would definitely be like the like you're scaring everybody records. Like you're scaring away the hose records to put on. But yeah, Suburban Lawns like that. I think they only put out one album, but it's just like a bunch of weird, like eclectic, kind of really jangly guitar, but it's like more poppy, but still like super weird.
Love the name. Shit.
Yeah, Suburban Lawns.
Dumb
I named an
as
art show
hell.
after it,
Sick.
because it's just like this, like the false American ideal, just like
Sure.
that like sort of cookie cutter kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the art.
Right, bro. Dude, so I keep on forgetting that for whatever reason, when I was doing this on the Lo-Fi Horror Guy thing, that after I don't know, so long
hour?
or so many of doing them, it would kick me out. But that's just like I guess we're restarting on this page and starting this new thing. For whatever reason, I forget always that we start this and it's going to kick us off in an hour. So
it's all good.
I'm like, fuck, no.
I was like,
missed it again.
Oh man, they really don't want to hear my hot take on a punk album.
Oh, dude.
No, I was gonna say something, but I was just so in the zone, and I was picturing Zach cruising, listening to fucking Suburban Lawns or like weird fucking 200 BPM like kick drum with distortion, cranking sunflower seeds and Monster.
Man,
dude,
I couldn't stop.
Bob, yeah.
Mountain Dew Energy.
Oof.
The Breakfast Dew.
Wow.
Let's get ripped.
Man. All right.
Are you a Dew connoisseur? Is that what you are?
Oh, I love Mountain Dew. Yeah.
Favorite flavor?
Man.
Favorite flavor? Like, of course, Baja Blast. But like, I actually like really do like the Mountain Dew Energy. It just has like a lot of caffeine in it. Edge watch.
Okay. Hey.
But yeah, it gets me going.
Sure.
Everyone's got their thing,
Yep.
But But the punk album that I was gonna say is Silver Apples. They're like a synth proto punk band from like the late 60s.
Whoa,
and it is just like, you know, like pre-Suicide, but just like weird fucking synth and drum machine jams. You know, like just appreciating like how weird it is. You know, I feel like it's on the punk spectrum, you know, even though it certainly wasn't intended to be that. They were just like, oh, like synths are a thing, like let's make a band with just synths. Like, let's go. Like synthesized sounds, like let's go. So like their self-titled record is like super awesome, and like just like so early, you know. It's just like I can imagine like when people heard it when it came out, they're just like, what the fuck is this? Same with like when Sabbath came out, you know, they're just like, whoa, like what
are we doing here?
We don't even have a word for this. So I still think it's like pretty unclassifiable, but I think it fits in the punk realm for sure.
Dude.
So that would be like rounding off the punk list, being like, look, you know, driving and then we're looking over and be like, you like this?
You still with me? You still with me?
You still with me? We're going. Yeah. We're making it to Salt Lake City tonight.
Man,
we're going.
Man, I'll tell you, baby, I'll top off the tank and we'll just keep on and going here. Wait, you know, and not too fast, you know, because here's where I've been chopping at the bit. I've been chewing my nails because I want to hear what you got to say about thrash. I love the other answers, but I think thrash was where I'm like, all right, we need to hear what thrash CDs we got in this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. So this is actually funny. Me and Kevin from Public Opinion talk about this like all the time, of our thrash Mount Rushmore. You know, like always contesting the big four, you know. I certainly think like Rain and Blood is part of the big four for sure. And these CDs that I'm going to say aren't necessarily what I think are like the Mount Rushmore, so to speak. It's ever changing, you know. We're going in and modifying it all the time, but Slayer, Rain and Blood, of course, is up there. It's just got everything. It's evil, it's dark, it's fast, like Satan. Let's fucking go.
It's fast. It's
sick.
Fast.
Yeah, amazing artwork. Just like the vibe was just like, I remember in high school, like other like skater friends, like we would listen to Angel of Death, like at the lunch table, and just be like, this solo makes no sense. Like it's just like atonal, like muck. It's incredible. Like, and just like how fast it was, like just at the time, you know, you just want to like skate super fast. So of course, Slayer's on there. And then I think deviating from like the big four, I would definitely throw Nuclear Assault in there.
Okay.
Handle with Care. Like,
okay.
It's like, because like, I don't think Scott Ian's ever going to watch this. No offense. But not really a big Anthrax guy.
Me
like in high school.
Me either.
In high school, I like really liked it because it was super goofy, but you know, that was kind of like my vibe at the time because I was in a band called Deathbox. So like being super goofy,
we're
like
kids, you know,
we're kids. Like we're just trying to be obnoxious, like Charles Bronson.
Yeah,
you know, just making silly songs about stupid shit.
Yep.
But Nuclear Assault, I feel like fills in that where like the shortcomings of Anthrax, you know, like it's fast. A lot of their songs are like really like political, or if not political, just they have a bit more substance than like, oh, we're gonna like say like make a rap song about being the man, you know, and we're gonna like rip off the riff to like is it Hava Nagila Hava, or something. They played that on the guitar before I'm the Man.
Mm-hmm.
But they,
and
I think, filled in there, because they're just like ripping, like super fast. Like that dude can play. When I saw a video of them the first time, I was like, had such hair envy, like there's a video of them playing in like Germany in like 89 or something, and like I don't know the singer's name, but he also plays guitar. But he has like a flying V that he's like playing like with it in between his leg. He's just got like that power stance,
Oh yeah.
Long hair, no shirt, tiny mesh shorts, the biggest white high tops. I was like, let's go. Like,
what else do you need?
You don't need anything else. I have a shelf in my closet of just white high tops because I'm trying to copy that
Jesus,
guy.
dude.
But
mesh shorts and the white high tops. That's it. Take off your shirt, throw on a wig if you need to, for the night.
I definitely don't got the hair for it, but
it wasn't a comment towards you. But if you're feeling, like having, that long hair for the night and swinging something around, toss it on.
Sorry, you kind of.
Am I losing you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Zach, you with us? Can you hear me? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
are we back?
You kind of glitched out there, so I don't know what you said.
Hey,
but
listen, it wasn't worth fucking hearing.
It was for the best. It was for the best.
Okay.
It wasn't worth hearing.
It was something about hair, but
just being a dumbass and putting on a wig for a night, and
I'm all about a good bit, So maybe that's my next bit is I wear a wig to live out my long hair dreams.
There we go.
But I guess the next thrash record I would put on, I've been really into like German thrash, so like Creator,
Creator,
Pleasure to Kill. It's just so fast.
Yeah,
it's incredibly fast.
Don't you feel like when somebody is like talking about your thrash band, if you're a true thrash band, that's the first thing you want to say, right? Fuck, it's just so fast.
They're just so fast. They're like
first and foremost, that's got to be there.
How did they do all those palm mutes? How? That's.
I think we have another infest situation. Maybe it was sped up after the fact.
Maybe it was
those rascally bastards.
But dude, like Pleasure to Kill, it's just like so fast. It's like evil. The album art is incredible. Like demons, like on top of like dead bodies. It's so sick. Like, but yeah, like German thrash is so good. Like Sodom, like the pointiest logo. Like,
well, and it almost borders on like death metal. It's so fat. It's like so extreme.
Just like
it's like extreme.
Yeah, like, and I think that's like what I really gravitate towards with like thrash. Like, I think everyone like really got like, even myself, like I got super into like party thrash, like Municipal Waste and stuff in high school because I'm like, I can't drink, so I'm gonna listen to songs about it. Kind of living like
a vicarious.
Vicarious situation. Sure. But just like I love like how like evil and like menacing thrash can be, and I think like Creator does that like way better than Anthrax, Megadeth, and Metallica. So I think Metallica would still be on my thrash Mount Rushmore, but I would squeeze in a fifth or sixth head in there,
Okay.
And then I think kind of just as like a more of like a tip of the hat to like the crossover compartment of thrash, Fearless Iranians from Hell. They're like a Texas band from the 80s. Dude, it's incredible. So the original singer was like a Iranian American, and all of their songs are like kind of this like sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek, like anti-American sentiment, but from like a more like Islamic or a Middle Eastern perspective. So there's like a lot of images of like burning U.S. flags, like a lot of like Islamic references. But it's just like incredible. It's just like cool, weird musicianship, like cool content, like any like jab at the like American imperialists superstructure is like pretty cool. And like doing that in like 80s Texas is like
that's pretty wild.
Pretty
yeah, that's a bold statement.
Oh yeah, and like when you like look at it, like the records, you're like, I don't know if I should be listening to this. So it's kind of got that like edgy factor,
Hey,
it's like
it's not
like
SOD
music.
Yeah, it's just like oh yeah, honey, we're going to listen to this album called Die for Allah. It's got some hits. But a lot of like the albums, they have like amazing musicianship and like really poignant, like relevant themes, like with like how U.S. foreign policy is still conducted nowadays. So they have like a compilation CD of like their 3 LPs: Foolish Americans, Holy War, and Die for Allah.
Damn.
It's incredible. Just like weird stuff, like great, like kind of excessive interludes, some great like intros and outros. I think one of the songs has like some lyrics in Azerbaijani, which is really sick. But yeah, FIFH would be on there, as like
Damn.
the mildly problematic sort of thrash take. And then I think we're going to round it off with Demolition Hammer. Just so fast. Just like that man is hitting that snare like no one's business.
Way too much. Way too hard.
Yeah, it's so high in the mix. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But Epidemic of Violence, like, that's like a great, like, kind of teetering on, like, it's like almost death, but it's still thrashy, like amazing drums on it, of course. I get like a lot of like drum envy, just like hitting like the double kick that much is so amazing.
And we mentioned earlier with Prince, but there's fellas or records like that too, where it's just like it comes upon one of those days, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking hear this right now, dude. I don't want to hear how fast you are and how good you are at double bass and how perfect your snare sounds.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
But it's definitely like on there of like, it's like super extreme.
I gotta stop.
Like it's super extreme, and like that's like what I want, like with thrash.
Sure.
Just like it's like pushing it, like whether it be like, it's really fast or like this like slam part is just like super heavy, But yeah, Demolition Hammer. And it's hammer related. I like hammers, apparently.
There you go. I love that. I mean, and
that's
so a little bit earlier, really quick, you kind of mentioned Metallica. Are we talking, like, are we going, real extreme and saying a load, maybe a reload? What are we doing here as far as...
I recently just watched Some Kind of Monster for the first time.
It's embarrassing.
Dude, it's incredible how long they've spent and how much effort they put into that piece of shit. It's so good.
Oh my God.
Like, it's just like incredible. Like, just like when like Lars's dad comes in and like he's like super like Danish or whatever, and he's just like yeah, if I were you, I would delete that. And like Lars is just like, okay, sick.
So
like,
that's awesome. Thanks.
Dad knows best. Dad knows
best. But I think with Metallica, I really like Kill 'Em All.
Of course, I hope it translated. I was joking.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I definitely
I fuck with Load and Reload. So fuck you guys.
Stop.
I did listen to like a remixed and like edited version of Saint Anger, where they like changed the mix and they also changed the structure of the songs to like there's no reason for what's the opening track, Frantic, like to be like 8 minutes long. There's like no reason
That's
for
the
it.
problem. That's the problem with later era Metallica. It's like, stop writing fucking 8-minute songs.
Well,
you 3-minute thrasher.
Yeah, you don't need to play the verse like 5 times, you know, or the chorus 5 times. Yeah. So like I listened to a remix where they like changed the mix of the drums and like made it sound like good, and they edited like the structure of the songs, and it actually sounded good. They knocked off like a half hour off of it, which is incredible.
Whoa!
Like, because that album is like pushing 75 minutes, like unedited.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, I would say like crazy. Early Metallica. Like, I'm not like the biggest Metallica head, but if I have the opportunity to put on Metallica, I usually just put on Slayer. So,
dude, that's the answer I love to hear. Man, I want to put on a great Metallica song. I'm just gonna put on Slayer.
Yeah, because like even like early Slayer, like it's not as gnarly, but it's still gnarlier than Metallica at their gnarliest,
dude.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even later Slayer. Well.
Oh yeah.
You know,
because like Show No Mercy, like it's like certainly not as like gnarly as Rain and Blood, but it's still like pretty evil, you know, and like Hell Awaits, like talking about hell and shit in like the 80s. Like
the cover art?
Yeah, the cover is so sick.
You're in hell.
Well, Live Undead. Live Undead is like, I remember listening to that and being like, God, I want
that cover art.
And it's like that's
man.
like their interpretation of like glam or like hair metal. Like that's the kind of hair metal I want to listen to. Like, let's go. But yeah, I like Metallica's great, but I just like Slayer better.
Slayer rules.
Slayer rules.
I love that. I love that. I mean, how do you feel about this whole Slayer thing? Them coming back. I hate to take any more time on you know, away from like your story and different things, but just really quick, maybe even.
I honestly like I have like it's like a push pull with like reunions, you know, because like I get it, like they want to connect like with like a newer audience or whatever, or they need money, like that's fine, like I get it. But also it's just like, if you're not going to be making new music, then I see it as sort of masturbatory, you know. So I don't know. I still like, the other day I went and saw Killing Time, so like I'm guilty of seeing the reunion band, and like I've definitely like seen Infest, not in the 90s because I was a child. So, you know, I think it's fine, but it's just like I don't have any interest to like go see it. Like they can do whatever they want, like, you know, like,
I mean, it doesn't help that it's at Riot Fest, and what a fucking miserable time that is.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to go to Riot Fest.
Is that a hot take, or is that not like a?
I don't know if it's a hot take.
I'm just saying I've been to Riot Fest and it's pretty fucking miserable.
But
really,
like I do see like it's like.
Is that because you just don't get like a private cart to drive you around from show to show?
No, I'm saying it's just
bottled
like
water.
10 trillion people there.
Yeah,
and like I saw Slayer at Riot Fest. I saw them 3 times on their farewell tour, and I saw one of the days was at Riot Fest, and it was by far the worst, and it was lame as fuck, and it sucked.
Yeah.
And that's Slayer.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think it's like a great opportunity to not be at your best, you know, because like you're significantly older than when you made this music the first time around, so you're just like open yourself up to like not being on your A game. But then I also see the plus side of it, you know, like with Stranger Things using the Metallica song, you know, like that exposed a lot of people to Metallica, and like we can all agree Metallica's fucking cool,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's super rad that like a new like generation of people can like bond with a band, Like I remember when I was 16 and I went and saw Gorilla Biscuits, I was fucking hyped because I never thought I would see a band from the 80s, But now like there's two sides to it or many sides to it. But I don't think I would like go out of my way to go see Slayer coming back. And what was the turning point for me to go to Killing Time is like the night I was on the fence, like I didn't really want to go because like it's a reunion, blah blah blah. But then I had a dream about it the night before, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And like the dream, I was like, it was like a really weird venue where it was like flipped around. So you walked in the venue and the stage was like right there, and you were looking at the crowd, and they were like lower than the stage, like it like sloped away from you. It was really weird. So I was like, I gotta go to see if this is true, And it ended up being kind of weird because there was like some problems with like the plumbing at the venue, so they like couldn't let people in because you can't have people in your building if there's like no running water. So we were waiting outside for a really long time, but it turned out to be a pretty cool show.
Damn. Just no shitting.
No,
all right, kids.
Shitting.
Come in, have fun, no pooping. Cut it out.
You gotta hold it.
You gotta, Go to McDonald's. It's next door. Jesus. All right, Jeremy, you take us away here, brother. I don't want to take up this whole thing.
Well, we have a long way to go in this journey. I don't know if we want to.
I got time. I got time.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's a school night, but I'll make time.
Hey,
we're just
we figure it out,
I'm in
over here.
Bed by 10:30. I'm reading my Lord of the Rings book. That's all that matters.
All right. There you go.
I won't get into Lord of the Rings. Then this will definitely be. We'll be here for hours.
We're all night. So, I know you're in the Denver area now, or in Denver. Like, when did you first live music, local music, getting into a scene? You'd mentioned that you were making tapes and taping over things and ruining that. What was your scene? Where were you getting into bands and doing all that shit?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same deal with I mentioned earlier that I felt like I kind of had a late start to developing my taste. Because I hear people I saw Madball when I was 12. It's like, well, I was 12 and I was listening to Eiffel 65, So I kind of felt like I had a late start, actually conceptualizing live music as a thing. And then even there being people like my age making music that wasn't part of popular music, But I think so. My first show that I remember going to, where I was like, oh, you can go see a band. I saw Green Day on the American Idiot tour at the Pepsi Center, which is where they play basketball and shit. I think it's called Ball Arena now. Go Nugs. But yeah, I think I was 14 when I went and saw them. But then as far as finding out about a DIY community, it was just hearing about it from kids at the skate park, or getting burned CDs, and being hey, there's actually kids that like the kind of stuff I like near me. And I met some of my good friends from high school at the skate park, my friend Nick, Pistol, Michael, they're kind of more crusty or street punky kind of stuff, getting into it early, a lot of Discharge,
a lot of Dental Floss.
A lot of Dental Floss. I definitely had a pair of crust shorts, I got in trouble at school because I wore a Hell Crusher shirt, and it had a a riot cop with like a shotgun on it, and they told me to like flip it inside out.
Did you though? Did you flip it inside out?
I did, but then I think when I got like to the bathroom, I flipped it back.
Like, fuck
just
you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You did, but like on the inside of the shirt, there was a middle finger printed.
Yeah, just being like,
fucking asshole.
Like, fuck you,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Skater die.
Yeah. But I think like when I like figured out that there was like a scene, I think it was just like hanging out with like those kids and like going and seeing kind of bigger shows at like the Bluebird or the Gothic Theater, which are kind of like bigger venues, but like seeing like GBH and like Subhumans like play those places. I think I saw Anti-Flag at the Gothic Theater, and that's when I like started seeing people like more regularly that like didn't live in Aurora. And then like talking to them being like, oh, hey, there's like this show at this warehouse. And I'm like, that sounds great. I'm going to go, but I'm not going to tell my mom, But there's like this place on, I think it's either Larimer or Lawrence Street. It's like right on the same block as the like Denver Rescue Mission. It's not there anymore. It got torn down, but it's called Less Art. Like the guys from Clusterfucks, they used to live there and have shows there. And then Ethan from Primitive Man lived there for a while and had shows there. Blastomat, which is now Seventh Circle, Sock's Place. But like figuring out about these shows, another place called Monkey Mania. It's also torn down now. I think I can't remember how old I was, but I saw Tragedy there, and it was like they kept pushing it back, and we're like 16, so like all my friends are like trying to like shoulder tap to get, like buy 40s and shit, and like my mom's like texting me like on my Nokia brick being like are you sure you're at Nick's house? And I'm like, yeah, totally am, for sure. But they played at like 2 a.m.
And you're like, I'm gonna be in so much fucking trouble now.
Yeah, but like seeing Tragedy was like super awesome,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was just like talking to friends and like slowly like finding kids at school that like liked punk. My friend AJ, like he was like he showed me like a lot of bands. He was actually in a punk band called Molotov Cockfight, and
love that.
Kind of like a more I don't know like if it's like shock value, but I can't really remember like their songs, but it was like kind of like edgy. They were cool songs, just like simple like punk songs. But I remember we had a show with like my first band in our friend Axel's basement while his parents were home. So it was like that was like kind of like the first thing of like, oh yeah, you can just like have a show whenever, like wherever.
Right.
But like yeah, like his parents were home and we're like being like, all these punk kids, like there better not be beer down there. And we're like 16, But
those are always the weirdest shows to go to, is like the house shows with the parents there, and you like show up and you're like, fuck yeah, and then you walk in, you're like,
oh, this is like a nice like suburban house. I guess we're gonna like go down into the basement.
I'm like, I'll take our shoes off.
But yeah. Yeah, that was kind of like my intro to like understanding that there was like a larger community of like-minded people that like the same stuff that I did.
Sure.
Just like talking to kids at the skate park and being like, you like punk? I like punk. Like, let's hang out.
Boom.
So it sounds like a lot of it too was through skating, right? Like that whole thing. It's like skating and then music, kind of.
Oh, for
Is
sure.
that safe to say?
Yeah, I just saw that my friend Roman joined. He was the drummer of Deathbox. But we met skating, just like showing up in like at the local skate park and Trails Park. And just like skating together and just like talking like what are you listening to or whatever, like, oh, I burned this CD, like check it out, or like, you play drums, right? Being like, I can kind of play bass, like let's do something.
We basically have a fucking band, dude.
Yeah, we got
What
it.
are we gonna call ourselves?
Yeah.
So
haven't ever written anything, nothing, no practices, but you're already naming the thing.
oh yeah,
That's the best. I still
for
do
sure.
that today.
You get merch before you have a song, you know.
Yeah, promo pics before you've even practiced. You're like, guys, let's go take some pictures.
Dude,
exactly. Yeah.
man.
So yeah, a lot of stuff like through skating, and like found out about like a lot of cool music like from skate videos and stuff. Um, but yeah. Oh, thanks, thanks, Roman. The vintage Rockies.
The Rockies.
Got to represent the hometown losers. You know, they are not good, but man, do they got a cool hat,
brother. You gotta love. You gotta give some love. Still, it doesn't matter. We've had the Lions. We've had, you know, we're gonna move on from sports. We can't do this. You can't start Jeremy on the Lions, especially.
Okay.
Okay. So when we talk about this point in this melting pot, and then all of a sudden at one point you're like, fuck, I want to play something. What was that first instrument? As far as, was it guitar? Was it bass? Was it drums? How did all that come into play?
It's definitely, it was bass. So I remember for Christmas when I was 13, I got like an $80 bass and practice amp like combo.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was $80 because I like was like flipping through the musician's friend catalog and being like, that's a sick bass. But it was like the cheapest one, you know, and it also came with an amp, you know.
Awesome.
I think it was called a Rogue. I actually still have it.
Okay.
It's back there. But
awesome.
So it was definitely bass. That same year my brother got a drum set. But he kind of like fell out of it. He wasn't really interested after a little bit, and now he's Mormon. So
now he's
sick, bro.
There's many roads to take.
Now,
it was definitely bass.
Now he's what?
Mormon. He's Mormon.
Mormon. Okay, I thought you said Norman. I'm like,
yeah, it's very normal.
Are you saying he's like a normie, or okay?
Yeah,
okay,
kind of both.
Got
kind
it.
of both.
Different.
But,
okay, Mormon. Got it.
Yeah, it was bass that kind of got me into it. I don't know why I gravitated towards bass at first. Maybe it was like it looked easier than a guitar. But I think it was also like I had like other friends that were like into guitar, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna like play bass. So, and that's like a thing that I really like vibed with on like a lot of like punk records, like especially like Anti-Flag or like The Clash. Like they're doing like walks and stuff, you know. It's like not just like matching. So I like really vibed with that early on. So like I took like I think like 4 or 5 bass lessons with this guy named Steve at Music Go Round. But he taught me how to play like a Clash song, a Green Day song, and then he showed me like what tabs were. So like I went on like the worst like Angel Fire website and like looked up tabs for like a Rancid song and tried to learn how to play
gifts.
Like,
dude.
Yeah, just like flame gifts, like being like, this is totally how you play Ruby Soho, you know? But you're like, this is not how this song goes. And like not really understanding like what like different tunings were. I think Rancid tunes the standard, but I had no concept of
it's
that.
Close enough.
Isn't it like such a defeating thought to think back and be like, that moment where you see this site or you see this thing of tabs, you're like, holy shit, why did I ever have to go and have somebody like teach me or like give me lessons? All I could do is just sit here and read this, and then like you start playing and you're like, this is a fucking song.
Yeah. It's like super simplified and it's just like not it. Yeah. But that definitely like he showed me that like you can learn like on your own, but like I definitely at that point was like writing like really simple songs, if they were like even songs.
Yeah.
You know, just
I
like
mean,
copying.
just navigating.
Yeah.
You know, you're just figuring all this shit out, dude. Like that's, you know, it's some of the most frustrating times, but it's also some of the times, you know, where like decades into playing music, there are times that you kind of have to like kind of divert back to thinking like that, because it's like I'm overthinking this. Like this does not need to be this hard. Like I could literally go from point A to point B and not have a crazy fucking solo in the middle, and it would be just fine.
Oh yeah,
the song
totally.
will live.
Like, and like I think that's like what really made me like gravitate towards punk, because it was like the structure was just so much simpler, you know. And it's just like, okay, play this simple part really fast, have another part that's kind of different, play it maybe a little slower, and then go back into the fast part, and then the song's done. Like boom.
See you later.
It's like super like DIY accessible, you know. Like you don't have to be good to like make a song.
Record, press,
yeah,
boom, next song.
Yeah, just remember to tape over the tabs on the the cassette. You know,
fuck, that was the best take.
That was the best one.
Oh,
Zach,
no,
that's tape the tabs down again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely bass. Bass was like the entry into like playing music, for sure.
And I mean, it's, you know, when I think of bass, I feel like there's like the Geddy Lees of the world. I feel like there's the Fieldy from Corns of the world. There are the you know, Robert Trujillo's. Who did you find? You know, were there any times that you were like holding your bass like this and had it like down below your knees, just trying it out at all?
I've
always been enamored on like how people would play like that. Like how the fuck is that ever a thing? Corn does rule. I'll agree.
Corn does rule. I definitely had like a moment where, you know, you have like the checkerboard strap, you know,
still have
and
it.
like trying it out. And like I started learning how to play like finger style, so like it kind of made a little bit more sense to like play it like a little lower, but it was like kind of inconvenient for me because like I don't know, just like the neck on the bass that I have is like an extended neck, so it's like double scale, so it goes to 24 frets, so it's like really long.
Whoa.
So it was like kind of weird to like, and like my hands like weren't like, I don't know, I think I probably got normal size hands, but those frets are like really far apart when you're trying to get like really low, so just like the angle of like playing it like super low just like didn't really like make sense. So like I gradually started like playing it like higher, and now if I play bass, I play it with a pick, and I like play it like pretty high. So yes, I did try it, but like the whole like Billy Joel from Green Day, like playing it like super low, or like Tim Armstrong, you know, I just like don't understand like how they do that, but like more power to them.
Yeah, I still think to this day there's maybe a wraparound like toenail situation happening, like from the bottom it's actually flipping up. It's not quite your hand. There's a little bit of a
you're using
from the bottom,
or you're using your thumb to like hold the top string, you know. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's crazy.
I think we need to do some investigating. I think we need to do a little bit of an investigation here and see.
Yeah, we got to get Mythbusters on this.
Let's test it out. Bust it.
Oh my God, how ridiculous! All right, you know, I would have to say so. You know, we had kind of talked a little bit, you know, prior, you know, to this, and kind of mentioning like my thing. I got introduced to you and your work through Civilized, you know, and as far as like this has kind of been something that has been around for quite a while, and you know, I love the aspect with Youth Attack and how a lot of that stuff is very under wraps, and so I don't want to, you know, fully kind of get into this, but you know, like, and especially also because like Ukko's hammer fucking rules, and I kind of want to spend like, you know, the time on that, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But as far as like Civilized, like what, you know, what comes to mind as far as when this band's initially coming about and you guys are coming together and you know, starting to write some stuff, this initial demo that you had?
Yeah, so like the demo, I actually played bass on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like when we started the band, started like playing bass because like our old band, Deathbox and Crawl had dissolved, and we wanted to make something new. So like I started playing bass. James was on drums, Michael
Mm-hmm.
was on guitar, and we kind of started like more of like a raw punk sort of vibe, like a lot of distortion. Um, Not really like D beat or whatever, but just like a lot of like really blown out, like Urban Blight sort of vibe.
Okay.
Um, and then we got this dude Jacob to be the vocalist. But at that point we were called Ego Complex, and so we like put out like a rehearsal tape, and then when we went to like record the Negative Reflection demo, we changed the name to Civilized, and that's when Jacob left, and I had recorded the bass on it, and then we were just like, well, I did vocals in Deathbox, like I'll try it out. We're trying to do like Jacob had like a more deeper like voice, so I was trying to like kind of emulate that,
Hmm.
kind of like snarling, kind of like from like the corner of your mouth. Like that's like the only kind of like thing I can like describe. So
Huh.
just like kind of doing that,
Weird.
and so like I played bass on the demo, and then just started doing vocals from there. Kept some of Jacob's lyrics, changed some of them to like new ones, and then that was the demo. Um,
Okay.
I like with Civilized, I didn't really do much of like the like writing, like riff wise.
Mm-hmm.
More just like having suggestions for like organizing, or like, hey, like let's try this or whatever. But I didn't do any of like the riffs. Like
Okay.
I wasn't. I would like it had quickly surpassed my ability to even like play bass with the songs. So like I was like definitely more than comfortable just doing the vocals and trying to have like a good delivery there, and
Yeah.
like have like a good like stage presence and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm not like completely losing my mind here. Jeff was involved, right, on guitar?
Yeah, so like I actually like watched his episode where you were talking, and what he said about him getting in the band is like 100% true.
Oh,
Like I just like
okay.
I got his email from I think like a message board or something, and like at the time we had like um been trying out like different bass players. Like our friend Ben came with us like on like a little run, and then we had um um, our friend Tiana playing bass, and then like there was just like scheduling stuff where it was just like, oh, like we're trying to like practice like very frequently, and just like the bassists that we were using at the time, like um, just like weren't available. So then
Mm-hmm.
like I just like cold emailed him, just being like, hey, you were in a band. Do you want to be in my band? Like, can you play bass? Like I've seen you at a couple shows. Like, let's do this. And then that's kind of how it, like, he got in the band, and he was playing bass first. And um, then we had two guitars for a while. And that's when John started playing bass. And then Michael left, and it was just two guitarists. And then we had our friend, just one guitarist, and then there was like a lot of
Moving parts.
shifting around, yeah,
Yeah.
moving parts. And our buddy Wolf played for like a couple shows. Um, if Michael couldn't make it as like a fill in, so
Mm-hmm.
there was like a lot of moving parts, but um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So Jeff
With
was in the
with
band.
yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. Because for whatever reason, I didn't have it like pulled up, and I was like, I know that he was fucking in here, and I didn't want to like full out say that, and you're like,
Yeah, he
no, what are you talking
played
about? Yeah. Yeah.
he
Okay.
played bass on the 7 inch,
Okay. All right. Got you.
and then he played guitar on the LP.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Within, and maybe even taking out of the personal aspect from me, but within Dust and Blood, what comes to mind to you as far as maybe a standout track? And not that you have to go overly into it or anything like that, but a powerful record. I mean, both of these records were fucking hard.
I think to stay on brand, it's got to be Hammer.
Oh,
I thought
rascal.
I thought like I really liked the lyrics, and like I thought my delivery was pretty cool on that song, and like I haven't listened to it in a really long time, and so I like re-listened to it to kind of catch up on it, and I was like, I did pretty good on that song. So
Okay.
yeah, I like that one a lot. Just like the kind of the catches and stuff, like just like kind of the syncopation that I thought was really cool. So that was a memorable thing, and it's Hammer related. So
it's funny that you mentioned that now too, because I mean, listening to it and kind of having the correlation between the two, the Hammer, of course. I mean, and then we follow this up. We have Chopping Block come out. When we meet the cover art with the fucking snap and snarl of a record like this, what's a shining moment to you? What's a standout thing, as far as this record?
As far as like song wise, like my favorite song, let me think. It's also been like a kind of a long time.
Sure.
Like I think Burning Cold.
This has been...
Burning Cold.
Okay.
So actually, funny enough, that song is about reunion bands.
I was going to ask you about the lyrics. I love that song. That's my favorite song from that release, and I love the lyrics. I love the bass, the caveman shit, like the heavy shit to start the song, and that crutch of nostalgia cannot hold. The crushing weight of girl. Like I was curious, kind of. I know some people are weird about talking about their lyrics, but like I really like the lyrics.
Yeah,
for that, and like in general.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was just about like that one take of reunion bands kind of trying to like relive the glory days, and sometimes it's better just to let it die, just like let it be what it is. And like like that line, your lust for youth is so insincere. It's like being like trying to relive the glory days, but when in reality sometimes it's all big cash grab. But I think like within hardcore, sometimes there isn't a lot of money to be made, and like I do see like it's really cool now that I'm like a little older being like, yeah, it's like kind of cool to like show like the older stuff and like expose that to a new audience. But that was kind of like the
legacy stuff.
Yeah, going into it, it was like kind of like poking fun at that. Like I mentioned earlier, like Life's Blood. Just like being that like that that sort of like thorn in the collective consciousness, sort of bit. So it was kind of poking fun at that. But I think that song has like pretty much like everything I like really like about a hardcore song. It's got like a cool like heavy intro. It's got like a fast part. There's a breakdown with gang vocals. So it's just like it's kind of like got everything. So I really liked that song, and it was really fun to play.
Track.
Like people would go off to it. So
dude. So sick. When within this record, something that always stood out to me, and you can have tons of reference or tons of inspiration, maybe I should say, behind this, but I always loved the opening line, or at least the first thing, being the track of, or the title of the track, and that just being the first thing that you were barking out. What?
Oh, yeah.
what kind of like what was there something in particular that you had in your mind where that was the first thing, like first and foremost, this is the title of the track, and now I'm going to beat your ass?
I don't know if there was like any conscious thing about that. The time that like reminds me of that is like the song called Civilized. It's like, like Youth of Today has like, they say like youth of today, like it's like it seems to be like one of of the boxes to check off.
Yeah.
You know, and like being a hardcore band, like you have to have the song called your band. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was probably like kind of started as like a funny thing, and then maybe like kind of cryptically revealing like lore behind like the origin of the name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like for me, it was just fun to like say Civilized like before we play, or just being really matter of fact, being like, this is the name of the song we're playing, you know. Kind of, you know, like I always like when metal bands, they like intro the song in the voice, you know, like, so they're like talking normal and they're like, this next song is called like, you know. I always thought that was really sick. So, you know, it's like being like self-aware that like it's like pretty ridiculous, you know. So
it's a fun touch, I think, whenever you're listening to something, and it kind of gives it that like that self-aware of like what it is. Like, yeah, it's tough, and yeah, it's, you know, like we can beat your ass. We have this visual of everything, and the, you know, the artwork is tough, but like little things like that where you're really listening and paying attention, it's like, oh, these guys are fucking cool.
Yeah, and like it's like I've like learned this more as I've gotten a bit older, that it's like okay to be like silly, you know, like hardcore is like a inherently silly thing, and then like realizing the absurdity in it, but still having it be like an outlet for like aggressive emotions or like any emotions, like whatever. But just having like some fun with it, because like that's like why we're all making music, you know, is to have fun. So like,
good time with
why not be a little silly? So like, of course, like we're gonna like have a hammer in our logo, like, and our name has hammer in it. Like, it's just goofy. Like, it's just fun, you know. It's just like the Death logo, like having like a spider in it, and like it's just like
a reaper.
Yeah,
just to really
like
make
a
sure.
scythe, like just like being like, yeah, like we're fucking evil in darkness. Like, let's go.
Yep.
So,
just in case by the name Death you weren't picking up on it.
Yeah, if you didn't know what our vibe was, now you know.
Yeah, the sickle will drive it home.
Yeah. The skull in the background of the E or the A will really let you know.
All right, so I really quick, I want to try and save this, because otherwise I don't want this cutting us off in the middle of a thing. So if it's cool, I'm going to end this really quick. Say this, and then I'll get started. We're gonna be on the Ukko's hammer shit. So if that's cool with you, really quick,
Sounds
just
good.
so we're not in the middle of something.
I'll take the opportunity to go take a.
There you go. There you go. All right, buddy. It's a couple minutes here. Boom. All right. Got a piss break in. Well, bam.
Yeah, ran upstairs, got my phone charger. We're ready to rip.
I'll tell you what, man. That's the one thing. That's where I'm messing up on. In true tradition of doing all these interviews, I've always had these corded headphones. I need to just go ahead and buy some of the AirPods or whatever the fuck they are, because the charging situation would be a blessing of sorts, if you will. A Satanist blessing. For all the Slayer fans out there, of course.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I got these kind of as a birthday gift, so I don't think I would ever go out of my way to buy them for myself, but they've been and I think we got them like for a good deal, like on the marketplace. So but these like have like really crazy like noise canceling, which is incredible, and like I use them when I like have to like do like a meeting at work. It just like makes everything completely silent in the background, which is really wild.
Whoa.
But yeah, the cordless is the way to go, dude.
Man.
Submit to the machine.
Brother, baby steps. I just got a computer. You know what I'm saying? I just have this thing where I'm like trying to...
Still 2004 over there.
He didn't want to spoil himself.
Yeah. You still got and your first computer is one of the Macs that have like the colored plastic back.
Yeah.
Purple.
Like clear.
Purple?
Yeah. Dude. Translucent.
Yeah. Translucent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We got to go back to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're talking that, and one of the cool things was like having a band like Civilized. I think it's sick, where you have something like that, and sometimes people kind of have that one thing, and like that's like their like sole, kind of uh, um, notoriety in music. But then all of a sudden, dude, you go and you do some real digging, and we have something like polyurethane, and completely out of the box, completely away from aggressive, completely away from hardcore. Uh, God, since like the mid 2000s, you've been kind of messing around with this whole idea of drum and bass, industrial noise. Where do you like? Was this kind of your first like touch into dabbling into that style?
Um, Kinda. I probably, yeah. So like when I was first putting together polyurethane, it was just like I didn't really um I was just like trying to make like fucked up music like Flipper or
Okay.
like No Trend or something, just being like this is like atonal, just using like what I got. I just had like Audacity and I would just like record like fucked up bass lines and add like that really synthetic distortion onto it and like make 20 tapes and like give them to my friends. Um, and then so that was probably uh, like 2010 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was like starting to like try to like make like my own music, like kind of like the solo side project sort of
Mm-hmm.
deal. But then like we played like one live show and then that was like it. And then like after like Civilized started becoming a thing, I was like, I actually want to learn how to play guitar, like not just bass, because I just wanted to like mix it up. Like I'd never played in a band like with guitar, so I just started like messing around on guitar, and that's like kind of when I was like getting really into Godflesh, you know, because like polyurethane in its like current iteration is like 1000% a Godflesh worship band, like unabashedly, like that is the prime influence and just like my take and um like those simple like kind of chugging like crushing riffs. Well, I don't know if polyurethane's crushing by any means, but you know what I mean.
Mm,
But like those riffs are like really easy to like do vocals and play guitar because that's something I get really hung
okay.
up on. Like I can either do one or the other. I'm not really like there yet to like play like a really complicated riff that doesn't match up and syncopate
Mm-hmm.
perfectly with the guitar and the vocals. So that was kind of like an outlet for that, and I didn't have like access to like drums, so was making techno music at the time, and like through my various like techno um, projects, like was like, oh, I can use it to make like punk or like metal or whatever polyurethane is, So it's like the same drum machine. It's right there. So it's my TR-707.
Oh, damn.
It's like
Okay.
the same drum machine I use for like everything. So like just like I got it off of eBay for like pretty cheap. Um, Now they're going for like a lot of money. But like I don't know if you're familiar with like the TR like
No,
Roland series,
not
but
at all.
so like the 808, like that's like a big like hip
Okay.
hop drum machine. But that is like the step above the 707 because the
Okay.
707 is like sample based, and then the 808 and the 909 are like analog, like
Oh, okay.
so they're like purely analog synthesis like sounds, and they're not sample based, but those are like unattainable. So like an 808 is like 3 grand, a
Whoa.
909 is like 5 grand. So like the 707 is kind of the more accessible
Sure.
route, and it has like a really cool feature where there's like separate volume sliders for each sound. and there's also separate outputs for each sound. So while it doesn't have like a lot of like internal like like modulation in it, like you can have run it through as many like outboard pedals as you want. So I just run it through
Oh,
like way too
okay.
much distortion and reverb, and it sounds really fucked up, and it kind of does what I need it to do.
Yeah.
So I just had that laying around from like making like fucked up noisy techno, and just decided to try and make like a Godflesh worship band, and that's like what Polyurethane ended up being. So like when we played live, just mimicked Godflesh. I bought a JCM 800.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get the 7 string, but
Oh,
and
okay.
then I had my friend Kyra play bass, and we had the drum machine and played a handful of shows. I think we had like 5 or 6 songs total, but I
Mm-hmm.
only ended up recording those 2 after she moved. So it was kind of like a posthumous sort of thing, and I haven't really touched it since.
Okay. Okay. I think it was just something cool, like where, initially, like I say, as far as knowing you from Civilized or knowing your name from Civilized and being like, man, I want to check and see if this guy's got like anything else going on. And that's just, I think with musicians in general, you hear a band and you look for the thank you lists or you look for the, like, fuck, what are they incorporated with something else? And like, seeing like a vast variety of things,
Yeah.
and different genres and subgenres and, from punk to hardcore to, industrial drum and bass to, thrash, which, up next we're talking Ukko's Hammer is like one of, I mean, I'm absolutely in love with, I thought like Civilized was at the top as far as like your work, but then I get introduced to Ukko's Hammer and it's like Jeremy and I both, I think, love this act, dude. It's so sick.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Glad I'm not one and done. So
No, I mean,
that
and
feels
that's
good.
that's the thing. But even like listening to something like Polyurethane, like not my realm, not something that like I fall into or like listen to over and over. But like there was like a couple of times I was like texting you, messaging you as far as like listening to, and there's like some like real harsh shit. Like I'm at the gym and I have my headphones. And I'm like, holy fuck, man! Like I don't know what is going on right now. And like even some of
Yeah.
the things that you have, and you're like, hey, that's what I was going for.
Yeah. So like it's funny. Our guitar player in Ukko's Hammer, Andy, he also like helped record like some of the material. And I'm always like telling him, like being like the shoulder devil and the shoulder angel. I'm the shoulder devil, and I always tell him, uh, if it ain't clipping, it ain't ripping. So I'm telling him to like max all that shit out, and he's just like, no, dude, like you can't hear it, but like I can get away with it with like polyurethane or data rainbow or something like that, just like making it just absolutely like unlistenable, like
That's funny.
everything in the red, so um, yeah, if that's like one uh, catchphrase, it's if it ain't clipping, it ain't ripping.
Uh, Dude, I love that. I mean, maybe not the most practical
Oh
for
no,
someone who's trying to
not at
like
all.
pick up for recording, but
But hey,
I
it worked
I love
for
that.
Will
It's
Killingsworth, so you know, I think he found the good balance.
he got the balance,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. No, dude, I mean like polyurethane, data rainbow, suo was another one where like completely on opposite spectrum of like that type of subgenre, but that chill. It almost felt. I mean, like it was like I think I was saying something to you about like it feeling like a movie score. Like I
yeah,
don't know.
it's
It just
like
felt.
definitely more like cinematic and
Hmm.
like more melancholy, and like the tone is more like a dirge rather than like this like blast like
Hmm.
in your face. It's like more drawn out. Um, but yeah, Suo is like definitely a more like trying to have like atmosphere, um, and like build building like a vibe, you
Mm-hmm.
know, rather than just like shoving it in your face
Right.
right off the bat, which I have a project that does that. So like just like if I can't accomplish it through like one means, like, oh, just like you can do whatever you want. You can make another band, you know?
Yeah,
So
dude. I mean, and kind of, I guess, even like going from there, Ukko's Hammer. So this is something, we have a couple of releases. You have 3 releases on now, right?
um technically 4. Um we made a run of 10 tapes that are, it's like a live tape, and we put them on like
Oh shit,
chrome tapes.
that's right. Okay, yep.
And we only made 10 of them because the chrome tapes were so expensive. And like we hand dubbed them, so it just was like a pain in the ass and not practical. And then we were just like, yeah, let's just like not put it on Spotify. And
Yeah,
so I think it's on Bandcamp.
yep.
But yeah, there's the demo, the toil tape, the live tape, and then the Tuonela lathe cut like single.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So yeah,
I mean, you've kind of touched on like obviously, within like your loves for thrash, and you can see that obviously as being like a prominent genre to what this band is. But then you also, like, one of the weird things initially when I'm hearing the first release, I'm hearing the Toil EP, is that industrial aspect to it. um you know was it initially kind of the idea to do a thrash band, and then these other kind of elements ended up coming in, or how did that work out?
um, I think like there was like a lot of like uh crossover influences, you know, like early Suicidal, uh, Sacrilege, like the later DRI stuff, and like there really isn't like too much of that in Denver. So I was just like, well, like let's give it a try. And like my vibe with like crossover, um, kind of like matched up with like how I like feel like playing guitar. Like I'm trying to like emulate something, or I'm trying to like write metal songs, but I'm just not good at guitar. So like it turns it, like it distorts it into like a sort of like more hardcore thing. And like luckily there's like a category that it can fall under as like crossover, you know. So
Hmm.
I'm like listening to like Sepultura and like trying to copy those riffs, but I just can't, I can't play as good as like Max can. So like it just like
Okay.
makes it into something different, because I'm just like, I'm admittedly not the best guitar player, but like
Oh.
um and it kind of makes it into something a little different.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, there's a lot of that. And I think like where the industrial thing came in was just because like I started writing those songs like mid pandemic, you know? So I'm like by myself in my basement, like I don't have drums. So go to old reliable, you know, whip out the
Boom.
drum machine again, and try to make some songs and try to like make them not slow like the polyurethane songs, but like speed them up, use like more like double bass, and have it be like super mechanical. And that kind of like over time bled into like the Hammer songs. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Dude, you know, the first release, like I say, I mean, absolutely sick. I was
oh shit,
sold right there and
I
then
think
some.
I think either I froze or you froze or something
Did I
for a
lose
second.
you again? Dude, what is going on tonight? This
I don't know.
fucking
I am in my
it's
basement,
this
so
it's
it's
this
probably me. It's
it's
probably
this
me.
meta shit, dude. It's
Yeah,
this meta
it's
meta meltdown what we have going on.
yeah. Big data is trying to ruin your podcast.
Fucking A, unreal. No, I was just mentioning the first demo, um, absolutely ripped. I mean, like that was like a selling point. But then the Toil EP comes out, and that track, Alter Progress, absolutely ripping. Like, I think that was just kind of where it was like there was this next level that kind of came along with it. Skin and Bone, I mean, please tell me that I'm hearing a very Tom Araya death scream at the beginning of the song.
Oh, for sure. Like we actually, like, our drummer Anton like made me do the Slayer scream like so many times, because he was just like he was like, do it a little longer, because like as soon as like he found out I could do it, and like I didn't know I could do it, I was just like, we were just like fucking around being like, it would be sick if we did like a scream right here, and he was like, dude, you should try the Slayer scream. I was like, okay, I'll try it, and then like did it, and he's like, okay, that was cool, but a little longer. And like by that point, like my voice is just like totally fried.
Oh my God!
But yes, it is a Slayer scream, and when we play that song live, I hit it like probably 75% of the time, because it's funny because like we play that song like kind of later in the set, because like before we got our new drummer, we would play with some backing tracks to like really like fill it out and add more of like those industrial sounds. Like in Toil, there's like the anvil sound, so like just having like extra like bass or like percussion mixed in there, and it just felt weird to have like play like a normal thrash song and then play this like full like crossover industrial song and then go back to like a plain thrash song. So we like put all those songs like later in the set, so like Toil would be the first song with the backing tracks, like adding percussion or like samples and stuff, and then Skin and Bone would be in there, and I would be like 3/4 of the way through a set and like have to like pull this scream out of fucking nowhere. But yeah, it is a Slayer scream. Long story short. Like full on. I was just like, let's try a Slayer scream. Let's do it.
Oh, dude, absolutely ripping. I mean, and like obviously we can't surpass the Toil video. I mean, to have, you know, another legend, if you will, Mr. Chan, on the directing. Was this a collaborative effort? How did this happen?
So, a mild correction. So Chan, like he's an absolute legend. Like whenever I hit him up to like do something, he's always like, "Tell me where to be. I'll be there." And I'm like,
okay,
my fucking dude.
Yeah.
So I had this idea for this video for like a while, and like had like a whole like sort of like script or like storyboard in my head of like what I wanted it to be, but it just ended up getting like too complicated. So then I was just like, well, I bought this fucking goblin prosthetic. Like let's just like go over to like other Zach's house, and like put it on and like see what happens. And like there's an app on your phone that can make it look like it's shot on a VHS. So we just shot it all on my phone, and I hit up Chan and I was like, hey, do you want to like, we're going to make this like weird music video. Do you want to come take pictures? Cause he's just always documenting stuff. And then like, where his like photo cred comes in is like, I was like starting to put the video together and like adding in like layers and stuff. And like, since we just like filmed it in the alley behind Zach's house, like we didn't have like a lot of like footage, so I wanted to add layers to it. So at one of our shows, I handed Chan my phone and told him to like film us playing Toil, and like that's like where his video cred came in. But he was there.
Shit.
Like,
okay.
So like he was actually in the back seat like when we went through the McDonald's drive-through. So like he got like some like really great like behind the scenes shots of like me just like being the goblin, you know. But it was just like, I don't know like how we decided on like the goblin makeup. We've always
was there like a lore behind that?
Not really. One of the songs on the Toil tape is called Hisi Tansi, which like roughly translates to like demon dance. And like Hisi were like they're like this like Finnish mythological thing of like trouble making goblins like in the forest, but they're like kind of like up to no good, like just mischievous little mythological
rascals,
creatures.
if you
rascals. So like all of the artwork
Great use.
that we've had made like either has like some sort of like demon, like silly like goblin or something like that. So I kind of just wanted like lean into that. And like for one of our shows, like I've always like, well, for a lot of our shows, I've had like a bit, like our first show, I wore 3 Godflesh shirts and like took one was a long sleeve and I took it off, and then I was wearing a short sleeve one, and then I took that one off and it was like a tank top, but I didn't really like say anything. I just like did it. So I always like having like a little like fun bit. And then like at one of our shows, like I made a giant like hammer pinata. So it was like 7 feet tall, and like the hammer head was like this big, and it was filled with confetti. And we like I smashed it at this like house show we played in Boulder. So like there's always been like some sort of like ridiculous like theatrical sort of thing like with the shows, and like just like kind of playing into that sort of metal absurdity, like when Iron Maiden plays, they have like the whole stage show, like or like Guar, they have all the costumes and they like shoot fucking blood and shit at you. We just have like a giant cardboard hammer and like the most obnoxious banner ever, like the banner that like the first banner that I made, it's like almost 10 feet wide, and like just like putting that up at like the local DIY spot is like really funny. And then we had like a new banner with like the new logo made, and it's like 6 feet by 10 feet. It's like absolutely obnoxious.
Do it bigger. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, and it's just like it's even pointier. Like the logo is like even pointier. Like so, just like having fun with it. So like that was kind of like the idea like behind the video of just like having this like silly, like, sort of like lo-fi, low budget. Because I'd seen like other like bands like make videos that like were like really high production, and I didn't really like vibe with that. I like a bit more like our budget for this was like maybe $100, and a significant portion of that was spent on the prosthetic and like fake blood, like so, and it was just like ridiculous, like, and so like we like put on the makeup. It took me like 2 hours to like put that on, and like we're just like laughing the whole time, and then like after we like goofed around in the alley, and like we're like, oh, okay, like let's like light a stick on fire, like okay, and then we were like, well, I got a hammer, like let's light the hammer on fire, and then Zach was like, well, just like run around like a goblin. And so like it kind of like we've deviated from this like plan of like having these shots, and this like story to just being like goofy. And then we ended up like going and seeing Andy at work at like the bar, and like just like not acknowledging that I looked like a goblin. Like, so it was just like kind of silly, and Sean was there to document the whole thing.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, there's honestly like there's like nothing better than to have like a companion like this. Like I was mentioning, I love the track. I pick up the tape. Support if you can, grab the t-shirt, but then you have something like that music video like that, and you're just like, man, this is a whole package.
Yeah, and like
the whole package.
I want to make like more music videos, because I think that's like a really cool kind of like dying art of like the like low budget music video, like it's not meant to to be like a commercial thing. You know, it's more of like an additional like piece of art for the band. You know, like you have the t-shirts, yeah, you have the cool album art, you have zines, like you have all this like extra stuff that you can do, but like a music video is like a cool like thing that when done right, like it can be like a really cool add-on. They can be really, really cheesy, but sometimes that's the point. Like the nuclear assault critical mass video is so cheesy, but that's like the point. Like it's like poking fun at like metal videos of the time. So like that's like incredible. So,
I don't remember it, but I apparently I need to go back and I need to.
Dude, that track is S tier. Incredible track.
Whoa. The video not so much?
No, the video's great. It's funny.
Silly.
They even have like I kind of like ripped off like the the bouncing ball like on the lyrics. So like in the Toil video we have like the lyrics on there, but I just like don't have like the computing power to make a bouncing ball, but probably would have made it something funny like a skull or something, but yeah, they have like the lyrics, which I always think is cool, like showing people the lyrics. Like I definitely like went through my phase of like being mysterious and like not printing lyrics or like not sharing like photos of the band or like whatever, but I think it's like pretty cool now because like it's just like another medium to like express yourself, and then it also opens up for people to like know the song and like sing along, and like improves like the live experience, because like it's like the most flattering thing to like have people sing a song that like you wrote like with you. Like it's so cool.
Very sick. Yep, absolutely. So within this, it was this last year you did I'm gonna fuck up the pronunciation. Tuonela?
There's a lot of mispronunciation with stuff with this band. So to go on record, it's Ukko's Hammer. Ukko, not
Ukko's Hammer.
Not Ukko, not Ukko.
Ukko.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I was going to ask, what were the other mispronunciations?
Yeah,
Ukko?
It's like Ukko and Ukko. Are the pretty common ones, which makes sense, but it's Ukko's Hammer.
Beautiful.
And so, but a lot of like the weird mispronunciations are because a lot of the are we back? We're back. So a lot of the like a lot of the words are like Finnish words, so that's like why they're hard to pronounce. So it's Tuonela. So Tuonela is like the pagan Finnish like underworld. It's like where everyone goes when they die. Like there's no good or bad. It's just like you're dead, you go to Tuonela, and they have like a cool, like a similar thing to like the river Styx. It's like the river of Tuonela. It's like a black river, and there's a black swan that guards it. It's fucking sick.
Oh shit. Okay, so this is a cover art then.
Yeah, so the cover art for I think I have one somewhere. I was saving it. So yeah, so the cover
beautiful
of the lathe. So this is a painting by Axeli Gallon Kalela. I think I'm saying it right, but it's from like the late 1800s, and this is like the story of Tuonela. So this is like the river. Here's the swan, and like in the myth, this guy, the dead guy, Lemminkainen, he's like one of his tasks to like woo the daughter of like a witch it is to either capture or kill the swan of Tuonela. So he like goes to the underworld, he tries to kill it, but then he gets like ripped into pieces by a water snake. And then his mom is like looking for him and like dredges the river for his body and like puts him back together, but he's still dead. So like what she does is like in the painting, there's a bee, and so she sends this bee up to Ukko to give it magical honey to bring Lemminkainen back to life. So it's just like super ridiculous, but I really loved this painting. So we decided to use the painting, and it's like a bit of lore, because like the whole like concept is like I'm just like tapping into like my whole dad's side of the family's Finnish. So like growing up, it was like, oh, like we were from Minnesota, so it's like, oh, Vikings, like we're like Vikings or whatever, you know, like being a kid, you know, like what's like my heritage or whatever. But like turns out like Vikings are not Finnish.
Yeah.
So like they have a completely separate thing. Like they don't have Thor, they have Ukko. So it's like a similar thing. Like it's like the sky god or the god of thunder is Ukko, and it translates to like old man. But like a lot of stuff like referring to like thunderstorms like has like the prefix Ukko. And actually my friend Alvino of the band Of Feather and Bone, they went and played a death metal fest in Helsinki, and he was saying that over there they use Ukko as like joking around between friends, being like what's up old man. So like it's like what's up Ukko is like pretty much saying dude. So it's like
no shit, really.
So like it's kind of funny that the alternate like contemporary meaning of Ukko's hammer is dude's hammer. So you know, just kind of silly, you know.
You go over there and they're like, man, your band name sucks.
Yeah, they're like, you guys
this is
are
just a regular dude.
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of fucking nerds. Like, what the hell? But
well, either way, let me go on record here, though. The band name does not suck, and they wouldn't think that either. I just meant in the term of like being, you know, like a dude, you know, like dude's hammer. Which actually, you know, now that you say that like that, that's actually
we're just secretly a party thrash band.
It's like a Turbo Negro type band.
Yeah, we're just like talking about
sick
keg stands or whatever the kids do these days. I don't know.
Lap hogs.
Yeah.
Ukko's hammer.
Yeah.
Lab dogs? What is
lap
that?
Hogs.
Lap
a dick.
Hogs. Okay, got it.
Dude's hammer.
Yeah.
Dude's hammer.
I see it.
I actually like was talking about like kind of jokingly like making a pair of sweatpants and like down one of the legs it says the hammer, but then everyone was like, you know, that's like you're talking about your dick, right? And I was like, well, that's really funny. So expect Ukko's hammer sweatpants that say the hammer down the leg, and then on the butt in like the juicy font it says Ukko.
Oh, wow. Man, okay. I mean, we were gonna wrap on anything that you were needing to tell us. So, I think that's it. I think, you know, it's just that there's huge news on some sweatpants coming out. And
no, like
I can't wait.
I love a good t-shirt, you know. So like I love I got like a really good guy that like Brennan, he's like in Santa Fe, he prints all of our shirts, and he's always being like, hey, I bought a like 8-color press, like you got a crazy design, and I'm like, let's go.
Of course.
So like I always like really try to make like the shirts like as ridiculous as possible. So our shirt we have now is like a ridiculous drawing that I made of like a demon goblin like on fire. So
sick, dude.
You can buy that shirt at our show this Friday. We're playing a show in Denver. The Asbestos kickoff show with Giallo.
Giallo?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're going on a little tour, and the drummer of Asbestos is our new drummer. So we're going to make him do double duty.
Oh, shit. Really? Okay.
Yeah. So our other drummer, he moved to LA because he does like live sound production for Rebecca Black, the Friday girl, if you're familiar.
Yeah, go off.
Yeah, it sounds insane every single time I say it, but it's like 100% true. And he's just living his best life. So,
Wow.
um, but as far as like new things coming, we do have like a new tape in the works.
Oh man,
It's
sick.
3 new songs. Um, so I don't think I can say who's putting it out yet, but um,
Okay.
uh, I think they're a friend of the show. So
Oh, okay.
I think, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. I got like we're just like waiting on the mixes to get done, um, but it's like all recorded. Some new material. Um, I'm really stoked on. Um, kind of like it's kind of funny because like simultaneously really leaning into like the thrash element, but then like one
Uh,
of the songs like has like a lot of industrial, so it's kind of like doubling down on both of them. But
Sick.
um, still, uh, in one sense or another, trying to incorporate drum machine, even though we have like a real drummer. So
He's like, God damn it! Can't you just throw that thing
yeah,
away?
I'm like,
What are we doing?
nope, nope, we
No.
gotta do it, gotta do it. And like,
Awesome.
and like now that we have like the new drummer, we're not really as of right now, we're not doing a lot of like the backing tracks just because we're trying to just learn all the songs we got.
Hmm.
But I will be doing like like live samples with like the sampler and stuff. Like uh, I I bought the sampler that we use for Ukko off of Anton because he would like run the sampler and have like the backing tracks going.
Oh, okay.
Um, and it has a really cool startup screen where it says Ukko, which is super rad. So any gear nerds out there, the SP404, that's, that's what Ukko
Chef's
uses.
Chef's kiss.
Not sponsored.
Man, oh man.
Not sponsored.
Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Still early in the year.
Yeah, but
Still early.
that's all I got going. Just
Beautiful. A lot of
practicing my Finnish and trying to write Sepultura songs.
Oh, dude. Honestly, brother, I think we're gonna have to have another episode, at a further date where we're digging more into the lore and more into the things with Ukos, because that shit's awesome, man. That's cool. And like, I mean, you mentioning like with this latest EP and the artwork into the story and everything, like, it's sick, man. It's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just like kind of slowly developed over time, and like kind of like the surface level is just like using like Finnish mythology because it's like kind of like my family history,
Hmm.
like using those like stories as sort of like a allegory for either like a like like uh like people like working people's like struggles, like class struggles, like social issues, like using it as like a metaphor to talk about, like socialism or like whatever sort of stuff I'm thinking about at the time, or like being like, oh yeah, prisons suck. Let's see how we can
Yeah.
fit this into like the mythos.
Yeah.
But like one of our songs, like not to get too deep into it, but like basically the concept is like about smashing like Ukko's hammer into uh, 1,000 pieces and spreading that power to everyone, because he's
Oh
God,
shit.
so like realizing the power within like yourself or whatever. So yeah, I would love to come back and talk your ear off for another 3 hours.
I think Jeremy's phone just died, so
Oh, shit.
I think he's trying to message me, but he was mentioning something before we had started this one. He's like, "Yo, I don't have a charger for this, at least up here. I've got my computer or something like that, like plugged in." So I don't know what he was saying, but I think that's what just happened there. But no, dude, this is like I said, I felt bad that we had to reschedule. You know, I love this. You know, it's so sick. I mean, hearing the stuff that you have done, and you know, even the things that we didn't dig into. You know, like I mentioned, we've kind of talked off camera about Suo, and you know, anybody who hasn't heard some of the stuff, you know, you've do a little digging online. How about that? Find the gems, and you know, there's gems to be found for sure. I'm not going to give you the links, any of that shit. You find it, and the gratification will be better.
I'll give you a hint. There's a page on my website. Yeah. So if you want to dig through that,
Subtle
dig, it's there.
There it is. Nice wink.
Yeah.
No, dude, this has been incredible, man. I really, really appreciate you hopping on and you know, telling all the stories, dude. Telling all the good people some rad shit to check out. And if they haven't checked out Ukko's Hammer, you have the show. You said, is it this Friday?
This Friday, yeah, at D3. So we're playing with The Cycle, us, Asbestos, and Giallo. So if you're in Denver, come check it out.
Hard. Can't wait. And there's going to be some sort of shenanigans, just some rascal business going on from you guys, I take it?
If
maybe
I can think of a good
pinata?
If I can think of a good bit in time, there'll be something.
Okay. Beautiful.
If not,
you mentioned the 3-shirt thing.
Maybe I'll do the 3-shirt thing, but with a different band. I don't know. But I have enough Godflesh shirts to do it again. So I think I have like 10 Godflesh shirts. So.
Oh fuck, man! All right, dude. Hey, I'm gonna let you go here.
Awesome.
You know, we've had damn near 3 hours of your time, and I could not be more appreciative. Thank you once again. For anybody tuning in late here, this will be all edited cohesively. It'll be up on YouTube here. Give us maybe like a month or so. We've been kind of working on getting them edited and posted up on Saturdays there. So yeah, dude, this has been incredible. I couldn't thank you enough.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good night, man.
All right. See you later.
See ya.